A winter wonderland. That's how this place was pitched to us. Out in the middle of a forest with an unpronounceable name in a village that time forgot. In the email, it sounded like every other ghost hunter's paradise that we get messaged about. Isolated and antiquated, with a tourism board encouraging hokey effects and gaudy billboards. The vast majority of those emails go unanswered. If Tara weren't so capricious, this one probably would have too. But no, something about journeying to the middle of nowhere for a month struck her fancy, and like always, I let myself get dragged into it. So here I am, for the last time. The train beats out a slow, monotonous rhythm beneath us. It's an older machine, the sort that looks like it's supposed to take us to wizarding school, or that should be in a museum. When I bought the tickets, I thought we'd be getting on something a bit more modern. Oops. I shift in my seat, the tattered cushion and wooden boards doing little to soothe the pain in my back. We've been on this train for 12 hours, and I can feel every one of them in my bones. Tara's been out for the past 6, upright but fast asleep. If the bumpy ride bothers her, she doesn't show it. The paperback she was reading dangles low in her hand, in danger of losing her spot in the book. I scuff my feet across the floor, kicking at nothing. As tired as I am, I'm afraid for our journey to end, for Tara to wake up, to have to talk to her. I'm almost offended that she can sleep. She should be as preoccupied as I am, fighting off intrusive thoughts and wondering what to say. You wouldn't know from looking at her that we've barely spoken for 3 days. That's how long I told her that this would be our last trip for the show together, and that I was quitting once we got back home. My heart hurts, but it tells me I made the right decision. Yawning, I lean back against my seat and pretend it's comfortable. The cushions are unnoticeable, nearly as firm as the wooden floor beneath us. A heater in the corner hems and haws like an old man, but it's not nearly powerful enough to fight off the chill. I desperately wish that I could sleep too, but one of us needs to be awake when we get to the station, and that should be any minute now. Plus, I've never been able to fall asleep on planes or trains anyway. My eyes are sore and I rub one of them as I press my cheek to the cold window. Outside, it may as well be another world compared to the city we left behind. If not for the moonlight, I wouldn't be able to see anything, but the soft white glow makes the snow and nearby forest glisten, like it's under some sorceress's spell. A winter wonderland. The trees are all bare, save for the blanket of snow that covers them. Their empty branches look like something out of a kid's Halloween movie, shaking in the wind as if possessed. They seem to stretch on forever, farther than I can even see. It's more like an ocean than a forest. Morgan certainly wasn't exaggerating when she said this place was remote. Intermittent lights flicker amongst the trees in the distant darkness, which I assume come from either winter campers or hermits. I'd call them crazy, but I'm about to be in the exact same position. Something catches my eye. Way out in the woods, one of the trees, barely visible, seems to shake in a different way than the rest, as if blown by a different breeze. A thin layer of frost is beginning to form on the outside of the window as I push my face against it, turning to try and find whatever it was I saw. It's gone, though. It was almost certainly never even there to begin with. Either my eyes were playing tricks on me, or the moonlight was. I sigh and sit back again, allowing my eyes to barely close. I won't fall asleep. I'll just... I'm jostled back into alertness as the train lurches harder than before. There's a shrill whistling sound, and then the shudders of the train grow stronger as we begin to slow down. The driver hits the brakes. We're almost there. Across from me, Tara is undisturbed. Somehow she still hasn't dropped her book. Apparently, she's less clumsy when she's asleep. Through the frosted window, I can see the lights of what must be Eysenfeld as we approach the station. They're few and far between, like scattered stars. The buildings appear to be placed sporadically, nestled on and around a hill. As we round a bend, the village goes out of sight once more. I can't really put this off any longer. I lean over and shake Tara's shoulder. Hey, wake up. We're almost there. Without opening her eyes, Tara mumbles a response. How close is almost? Seriously? I don't know. Couple minutes? Okay, I'm getting up. She isn't getting up. I mean it. If you sleep through the stop, we're just going to... I'm up, Mads. She finally opens her eyes. I cut off the end of my sentence. I'm not sure if I was serious or not. We're not even there yet and we're already snappy. God, I wish I could sleep. Just a little longer, I tell myself. You excited? A little bit. Lie. You? Kinda nervous still? What is there to be nervous about? We've done this 1,000 times. Yeah, well, this isn't like those other 1,000 times. And you know that. She shrugs again, not meeting my eyes. I don't know, Maddie. I'm sorry. Let's chill. Yeah, I'm sorry. We lapsed into silence. At least when she was asleep, it wasn't awkward. I just want off of this train. I want to be distracted by going to the cabin and taking in the new sights. Any minute now. Hey, listen. Yeah? I know you're, not super thrilled to be here. She pauses, likely hoping for me to disagree. I don't. But let's just be cool, okay? Let's just try and have a good time. I breathe a deep sigh and let it out slowly. She's right. I'm committed to this trip. I can at least make it easy on myself. Yeah, okay. Sorry for getting bitchy. I'm tired. I feel you. Hey, how do I look? Like you just slept for 6 hours on a train. That bad, huh? She messes with her hair in some attempt to improve its state. The results are unnoticeable at best. Hopefully it's good enough for Fisher. Morgan Fisher. If she's meeting her online hero or whatever, then I doubt she'll care that your hair's a mess. God, I hope not. I don't want to end up on some fashion faux pas vid. For real though, if she's super fangirly, then let's just let her get it out of her system, and hopefully she won't make things weird later. Making things get weird later is kind of our specialty though. Yeah, true, but hey, it got us to 250,000 subs, so we must have been doing something right. I just nod. I still can't help but fixate on how everything she says is past tense. It's over after this. It's fully my decision. All I have to do is say the word, and things will go back to normal. I doubt Tara would ever bring it up again if I asked her not to. It'd be so easy. We step off of the train and into another world. A frigid wind saps the heat from my body almost immediately, as if it had been waiting until we arrived to pelt us until our skin felt like it was burning. I instinctively wrap my arms around myself to try to preserve what little body heat I have left, but it doesn't change a thing. I might as well not even be wearing a coat for all the good mine does. As nice as it is to have the moon keeping things from being completely pitch black, I could really go for some cloud cover right about now. Anything to keep some warmth around us. Tara doesn't even notice the cold. Armed with nothing but her signature jacket, she seems immune to the chill. She oohs and ahs all over the rustic train platform like there might be a ghost hiding in the rafters. Just a minute later, the train rumbles off into the night, leaving us behind. Not a single passenger boarded. Tara watches it go by, nodding in approval. Okay, this place is already killing it in terms of atmosphere. It's like she'd completely forgotten the uncomfortable energy that had filled the train, back to her usually overly excited self. I should probably be bitter, but instead I can't help feeling jealous of how she can just shake it off. She has a little pocket camera that she's been carrying with her, and she uses it to take a few pictures of the inky blackness surrounding us. I glance upward at the lights which hang from the ceiling. They are small candles, lit with real flame, as opposed to electric. One of them is blown out and swings uselessly in the breeze. They're about as ineffective at keeping away the darkness as my coat is at keeping me warm. The low light will surely ruin Tara's photos, but she's snapping away without a care. You know none of those are actually going to be visible, right? She ignores me. I should probably just let her enjoy the moment. This place really does feel super eerie. Listen. I do, and it soon becomes apparent what she's referring to. The silence. All around us it's quiet. Even the sound of the train has faded, leaving us in total solitude. The flickering lights of Eysenfeld seem impossibly far away, though I know it can't be more than a half-hour's walk. It's so quiet, isn't it cool? We're definitely not in Kansas anymore. That's one way to put it. I strain my eyes and ears looking for any hint of Morgan, who's supposed to be picking us up. You'd think the sound of a car's engine would carry pretty far out here. For real though, I think this could be the place where we finally get some hard evidence, something solid. She says this every time, but she usually sounds like she means it more. Just look at it. Something's gotta be out there. I can feel it. We both look off towards the trees. From the train, it was difficult to see where they ended. Here on the platform, it's impossible. My expectations aren't any higher than usual, though, which is to say, non-existent. I wonder if Tara really believes what she's saying either. When she speaks again, her voice is quiet. That would be the perfect send-off, wouldn't it? Her words sting. Damn it. Not here. Not already. I want to try and deflect away from this somehow, to set her back on her path. Let her enjoy this moment without me spoiling it. Who knows? Maybe this will be the one that finally gets you a con panel so you don't have to crash someone else's. That was one time, and their panel would have sucked without me. Her voice has an edge of her typical bravado again. It's a relief to hear. She returns to her camera, and I give myself a moment to try and take in my surroundings. Supernatural or not, there's something oddly serene about this place. That said, I'd like it a lot more if it weren't so damn cold. I shiver and cross my arms even tighter. Surely Morgan will be here soon. I can't wait to see the village tomorrow. I hope it's like one of those museum exhibits, with a little replica towns and people. In what way? Like, architecturally? She sounds out the words slowly. all rustic and old-timey. I can't imagine that it'll be that different from home. They've got to be modern enough for Morgan to watch paranormal, after all. If you're expecting people to be walking around in monocles and waistcoats, you're going to be disappointed. And here I thought I'd finally get a chance to show off how amazing I'd look in a top hat. I'm sure you'd be the teen heartthrob of the Victorian era. She gives me a brief snort of amusement. Her responses feel more muted than usual, but the fact that we're still able to banter is a good sign. I'm glad that I can cheer her up, even if I was the cause of her low mood in the first place. However, after a moment, she looks back at me. Her expression is serious for once. Okay, so, about Morgan. Like I said before, let's give her a chance to get all the excitement out of the way first. We should be nice and friendly, but let's try to keep it professional. I never thought I'd hear you, of all people, say that. I find myself flashing back to all the unprofessional situations I've had to extricate Tara from. Ranging from bad one-night stands to actual police custody. There are a lot of ways I could describe Tara, but professional is definitely not one of them. Hey, I usually make a good first impression. It's just the second impression, and beyond that you've got to watch out for. I laugh out loud at that, and I catch her smirking before she looks away. She can play it cool all she wants, but I can tell from the way she's bouncing up and down that she's undeniably excited for this fangirling she mentioned. It's usually one of her favorite parts. I'm sure a little ego boost will go a long way right about now. I can feel myself hopping back and forth slightly as well, but that's more out of a desire to keep my blood flowing. Thankfully, it isn't too long before I can see the silhouette of someone approaching through the storm. Oh, thank God. That's gotta be her, right? Given that we're the only people out here, I really hope so. As the girl gets closer, she gets easier to see. She's not exactly an imposing figure, but she moves with purpose. She's carrying a large thermos, which she raises in greeting as she approaches. I wave back. One of the first things I notice about her is that for some ungodly reason, she's not wearing a coat. All she's got on to protect her from the frigid weather is what looks like a hand-knit sweater, much like Tara. Once she reaches the platform, she greets us with nothing more than a tired smile and a small nod. Not exactly the geeking out Tara was expecting.
Hey there, you two. Sorry I'm late.
Her voice is friendly but flat. She sounds like she hasn't slept in days. Tara looks a little bit taken aback by how subdued she is. Recovering quickly, she puts on her big celebrity grin. Oh, no worries. Are you Morgan?
That's right. It's really nice to meet you, Tara.
Morgan's smile does seem to grow warmer as she greets her, but her face quickly regains a neutral expression a moment later. I can see Tara's smile faltering as she realizes that this is clearly the maximum amount of geeking out this girl is capable of. To her credit, she recovers well. Likewise, charmed, I'm sure. Okay, maybe not that well. Tara extends her hand and Morgan gives her a brief handshake before turning to me.
You're Madison, right? I think we spoke online already?
Just Maddie is fine. Nice to meet you. She shakes my hand as well. It's a firm, friendly handshake that ends as quickly as it began. Before she continues, she takes another sip from her thermos. I find myself wishing for a cup of coffee, too.
It really is nice to meet the two of you. I'm sure you receive a lot of invitations, so I'm glad you were interested in mine.
Are you kidding? Remote village in the middle of a huge forest? There's no way I'd pass that up. I've heard all kinds of stories about the things you'll find in places like this.
Hopefully not too many, or I won't have anything new for you.
Oh, I'm sure you've got something I'll be interested in. Real smooth, Tara. So much for being professional. I can see Morgan's mouth twitch slightly at the comment. I can only hope it was something closer to a smile than a grimace.
Tomorrow I can show you around the village. There isn't too much out of the ordinary there, but I'm sure you can find a few things that interest you.
That would be wonderful. We can go sightseeing when Tara isn't off chasing spirits around the wood. Morgan and I both smile. Tara flashes me a look of mock annoyance for the slight. But it's probably eating her up that I've gotten more of a reaction out of Morgan than she has.
It's about a half-hour's carriage ride to the cabin, if you guys want to head out. Do you need help with your bags at all?
Tara lifts her bags, giving Morgan another shiny grin. I'm pretty sure I see her accidentally flex her arms, too. Psh, don't even worry about it. I got this.
Okay, cool. This way.
As we follow her, I can see Tara pouting behind her. I've never seen the wind get taken out of her sails like that. At least that gives her another thing to think about besides my departure. Wait a second. Did she say carriage? No.
Way?
We're standing in front of an honest-to-God horse-drawn carriage. If it weren't for the little white puffs of breath coming out of the horses' noses, I'd be willing to believe that it was some sort of commemorative statue.
This is so cool. Is it yours? It belongs to my family. Given that there aren't any roads out through the woods, there isn't really a point to anyone out there owning a car.
I move closer, examining the craftsmanship as best as I can in the moonlight. The design is fairly bare bones, but a few flourishes here and there, and some semi-ornate painted finishes make it clear that this was something built with love and care. Somehow I'm the only one who seems intrigued by our ride. Tara, come take a look at it. As I speak, I look back and see her standing completely still, as if the cold has her rooted to the spot. Give me a sec. I'm just taking in the view a bit from a distance. She's trying to act nonchalant, but her wide eyes keep flicking towards the horses. Her previously genuine grin has turned into a very nervous grimace. Slowly inching forward, she scoots further away from the horses as she approaches the carriage. I doubt she planned for part of her first impression to be Morgan learning that she's absolutely terrified of horses. She had better at least learn to tolerate them, or this is going to be an even longer trip than I expected. Wait, if this is the only way through the woods, how are we going to get back and forth between the cabin and the village? Don't tell me we'll have our own carriage. Neither of us can drive one.
Oh, I'm going to be driving you. I can take you back and forth and help you navigate the woods. You didn't expect me to just let you wander around the forest in the middle of nowhere without a guide, did you?
Tara, still slowly making her way towards the carriage, does her best to give me a look of excitement. If anything, it resembles the look of a panicked hostage. The fact that she's still trying to play it cool is almost admirable in its futility. You're sure that's not any trouble? I'd hate to inconvenience you any more than we already have.
It's no trouble. I run my own shop, so my schedule is pretty flexible. I'm more than happy to help.
She looks over at Tara, who has finally made it within a few feet of the carriage. She shoots us both a thumbs up.
I have a feeling she might need it.
Trust me, you have no idea. Morgan turns and deftly swings up into her seat, taking a hold of the reins. Tara finally manages to place her hands on the carriage and climb up to sit alongside her, shaking all the way. I let out a sigh of relief and follow suit, mounting up next to Tara. It's a little cramped up here, but I'd feel weird just sitting by myself. Besides, not keeping an eye on Tara is a pretty guaranteed way to make an even worse first impression. So, can you do any tricks in this thing?